Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Commentary as Magic's stream on tonight, Sunday, June 3rd, 2018. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
I'm Everfree.
Big Cheese is on a plane going somewhere, but I'm our cat.
Doesn't that mean we should have, scratched out his thing on the banner?
Hold on. Let me get Photoshop out here.
We're just going to do this live?
Yeah, we're going to do this live. Edit. No, go for it.
Well, we're here kind of playing the slowpoke role today, talking about something that is now ancient history to most of us, in that it happened more than 1 week ago.
Wait, did someone say slowpoke? Hey guys, I heard Rainbow Shine got banned.
Oh, we're not talking about Pokemon?
I see what you did there. No, we're going to talk about Everfree Northwest 2018, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite conventions to attend. Not just the 2018 year, Everfree in general.
Man,
I love attending Everfree Northwest 2018 2 weeks after it's done.
And only attending that con and going back in time to attend it again.
I mean, can you blame me? It was a good time.
It turns out that later we'll find out that all of the Harmony players was actually just Grandpa's traveling back through time.
Beards get much better in the future, like fake beard disguises. You'd never know. And reverse beard disguises to hide your existing beard.
I think he's actually a changeling. Yeah. 2 out of 10.
That sounds like someone trying to be a changeling, not actually being a changeling.
Yeah. No true changeling could hiss that poorly.
That's fair. Well, Everfree was a great time. We had a chance to run a variety of different events there for both constructed formats and limited formats. And I think a lot of players enjoyed that. We had people travel internationally to attend. And many of them brought their A game. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And it was a good time. So we're going to take a look here in just the next few minutes at some of the top decks from the Harmony and Core tournaments, which we ran, as well as discussing the other events that were held there, and then a couple of announcements this evening for upcoming excitement.
Some neat stuff.
Oh, but we need to talk about Limited too, because, whoa.
Limited was big. Alright, tell us about Limited.
Let's see here. So we had 20 people in draft, and I think you have a story that you need to tell later about the little monstrosity that Big Cheese ran for a control deck. But myself, I did not get to Poppy, so I still did well, and given how big the field was, I think I did pretty well. More importantly, though, I had fun, because Limited is always a blast.
That is very true. Limited makes every game unique and different, and it's especially fun when you have people who have very different playstyles that they gravitate to. Some people love playing aggro. Some people want to force as much pink as they can for any removal. Some people like playing control.
Some people try to force Poppy.
Some people try to force Poppy, even when Poppy doesn't come up. It turns out forcing Poppy in those situations isn't necessarily the best thing.
Cannot Poppy.
Some people get 3 Tyrix Reign of Terrors and 2 Thunder Lanes, and
who did that?
That was last year, remember?
No, not at all.
Oh,
but I believe it.
Ivory Starlight just got past all of the blue stuff and just said, okay.
How do you get past 2 Thunder Lanes in draft?
I don't know. No one else was playing blue when they got to Marks, I guess.
I don't know.
I guess. Anyway, Cheese also had a spectacular time in draft. Apparently, all the control cards got passed to him, so he ran a Tempest main with 3 copies of Skeleton Soldiers and a copy of Changeling Mimics, along with 3 copies of Zecora.
Which Zecora?
The eccentric 3, if your opponent does not confront, gain an AT. 2 copies of Storm King, 2 copies of Twilight and Spike.
That's rare.
Making Twilight free if you have a Storm King.
Correct. Yeah. I believe he also had a Pony Pirate in there. A Dash Pony Pirate.
Oh my god.
That's just not fair.
No.
Nothing about that is approaching fair. That's just brutal.
It turns out it was, in fact, not fair.
It turns out if only one person is drafting control, they get away with murder.
Yes.
How big were the pods? Were they 4-man pods?
No, they were larger than 4-man.
I think we split them into 5s.
Yeah, I think they were 5-man pods. So slightly larger than your average pod.
Slightly smaller.
We've
I'm
generally
used to pods of 8.
Yeah, we've generally done 4-man pods. Those packs are smaller.
Eh.
Larger or smaller than average, depending on what your norm is. But draft is fun. If we were each to give just a quick tip to players looking to draft in the future, what would you say?
Poppy.
I mean, in what format is this? I've never actually drafted this format, I don't think.
Defenders and Sequestria, 2 of each.
Yeah, I have not drafted this format.
Ah, okay, that's fair.
I mean, you should obviously try to pull a stick because sticks.
Yes. Okay, that is my recommendation. Open 4 good ultra rares and win.
Now, Sequestria, I do enjoy getting party mares because nobody has removal. You drop them on the field, and all of a sudden they're like 6 or 7 power, and you can't deal with that.
Yep. Party Mare is huge. Traveler Spike is huge. There's a few uncommons from each of the sets that are just way above the power curve for what you'd normally see. Twilight and Spike come to mind in Sequestria, and Sweetie Belle comes to mind in Defenders.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that is an uncommon, isn't it? Yikes.
Just don't play both. Your mana base won't, or power requirement base won't support that.
Whatever, it's fine. Motivational speech or something. Skitter says draft all the shinies. Also a good plan. Value draft. Can never go wrong with value draft.
Hate
Wait,
draft.
but there aren't any shinies in Sequestria. What do?
You obviously
Pass
need
people
to go.
pony pirates because you don't recognize their super rares.
Yeah. No,
That's
you
true.
obviously need to... Hate draft. It's clearly hate draft. Oh no! Don't want anyone else having a copy of that. Just take it. Can't has.
Continuing with our limited discussion, not only did we have a draft event where players played individually, we had Meme Sealed.
The
Team
ever
Sealed.
popular meme seal.
And our winners for Team Sealed was Team We Got This, yes?
I believe their proper title was da. We got this.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yelled at me for not pronouncing it right.
Da. I think we added like an extra 5 da-da-da-das every time.
Or just straight up omitted it. I'm going to blame this on their, I believe they were actually all British. So I'm just
Yes.
going to blame it on that.
You can't pronounce things because they're British.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it turns out they did, in fact, got this.
Yeah.
Had it.
Yeah.
Was...
So they went 3-1. Oh. Rather impressively. And I think my team went up against them first round, and it was a glorious shin kicking contest. And he could kick shins harder than I could. And then we died.
That's how it happens. Sometimes it's nothing but just mindless. Well, do I have momentum?
I'm going to confront in DFO. Okay. Are you going to confront in DFO? Yeah. Alright, I'm going to confront in DFO. Hey, isn't this fun?
Didn't you learn anything from Babs? You went almost undefeated playing Control.
Yeah.
You won Harmony, or not Harmony. You won Core and you won Team Seal because of you playing Control.
Yeah, kick shins. That's what I learned. Actually, what I learned is Poppy. But we didn't get Poppies.
No, we didn't. Well, Meme Seed was still a spectacular time. It's a fun event to run at just about every con that Sim organizes events for, and several others. If you ever get the chance to attend, grab 2 of your friends or make 2 new ones and go make some memes. Don't let your memes be dreams.
It's the
Teamworks.
first one, I believe, was Gen Con 2016.
Yep. And immediately, I think everyone just had a gleam in their eye as soon as the event was done and was like, this was amazing.
Yes, we need more of
So,
that.
someone got a Lyra against me, Lyra main. That was very sad.
Oof. Feels bad, man.
And they're one party of one, which they played every single game because, of course, they did. They had Lyra main.
Of course they did. Yep.
That's glorious.
But getting back to Everfree here, our limited events were obviously a ton of fun, but a lot of people also came out to play in the constructed events, and we offered both Harmony and Core. Or which one are we going to talk about first?
We're going to talk about Harmony first. So
talk to me about rolling in the mud in Harmony.
Well, first I'll talk about what Harmony was. So, due to time constraints at the conventions, we did not end up doing a top 8 for either Harmony or Core, and that probably was not a great decision, but it's really hard to give one of those more attention over the others because they're both, at the moment, very prominent formats. And also...
Well, at least up there.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, again, apologies to everyone who was trying to watch that stream due to the delays in the tournaments going, and that was a bit of a mess, and we're going to try to make sure to not do that again.
There was technical difficulties on my end too, because Windows updating apparently decided all your configures are wrong now.
Oh. Yeah, I've actually heard of that happening.
Did not realize I was not, or they could not hear me for several minutes.
Oops.
It worked out good, though.
It looks like you're doing something important. It would be a shame if there was a critical update.
Hope you weren't intending on doing anything right now. Anyway, so what we'll do is we'll cover the decks and pilots that went, what did we decide here? 3-1 and better?
3-1 and better, that's correct.
No, 2-1 and 1 and better.
We're going to, yeah, okay, that's fair. We're going to cheat a little bit and pull in a player in Core that got a tie, because of course.
Just to make things even.
Yeah,
well, let's put it this way. Anyone with fewer than 2 losses.
The top 4 unique decks.
Yes, because we have a repeat of 2.
Yes.
First, let's talk
we
about...
have repeats, yes.
Yes, we got repeats, yes.
We have repeats, yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad teamwork makes the meme work.
I got it.
All right. First up, I believe we have the main event's Mono AJ Farm that went undefeated in Harmony. Let's take a look.
Everybody cheer!
And was not Richard.
And was not Richard, actually.
And was not Richard, yes.
We'll
Everybody cheer for AJ farming. Isn't it so exciting?
Buy some apples, y'all.
That's a different deck, and you know it.
It is a different deck.
That's why I said y'all. If we were going to talk about that deck, I'd be like, buy some apples. Wub, 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 wub.
There you go. Skitter's on board with the AJ train. Yay, AJ.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's an AJ farming deck.
Yep.
It's got villains. It's got AJ. It punches the villains.
We've talked about this a few times.
It's also got sticks. It punches your stuff too.
It only has 1 Desert Road, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm. I think the most important thing we can look at here are the newest cards that have been added. And what we see is that the Desert Road, a single copy was added. Limestone from DOE, again, a single copy. 2 copies of Big Mac were in there. And, surprise, surprise, playset of sticks.
I'm shocked and appalled.
Actually, the one thing that does actually surprise me is no Storm King.
Storm King is decent in Core.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's worth the risk in Harmony.
I think
I mean,
you've
it
got
does.
better options.
It does do very well versus Ursa Vanquisher,
Right, yeah, that's the thing.
so it's an option. There's also 2 copies of Friendship Overboard as well, which we should point out. Kind of an interesting problem deck selection. Apart from that, it's a tried and true strategy. You know, when you've got a main who just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's not a lot that can be done to permanently answer her, it's hard to keep up.
Like I said, buy some apples, y'all.
Note the tremendous quantity of villains. In fact, every epic troublemaker that is here is a villain. So that means that AJ is going to be also getting some good soft control every time one of those flips face up.
So would you have chosen Nightmare Moon or Chrono Trigger?
I like Nightmare Moon in a deck where you think you can deal with F-Stop, and you do have Bailout.
And the One Desert Road.
And the One Desert Road. I'd like it more if there was Katajack in this list as well.
Yeah.
But I think Nightmare Moon can provide some value.
I know that my experience playing Toolbox Control against a farm, I was okay with the Nightmare Moons. Like I was far more scared of Chrono Triggers, and even more scared of Nightmare Startups. Ugh.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think the one thing I will call out here is this is, or at least it looks to be, a more farm-oriented deck. It doesn't go much for control, because
there's no popping corn.
Well, not just that, but you look at this and you see that it's got carbo loaders in it, and that's not normally a thing you see in a farming deck. Like, it's obviously good for farming, but
that's
really,
right. We haven't seen her in a long time.
Yeah, I might have preferred a Katajack or 2 there, like you were saying, but they're going to go full farm.
I mean, there's already 9 extra flips. The question is Carbo Loader going to provide you with a lot of value beyond what you've got there? And I guess it does, in that it doesn't cost you AT to be able to protect your own TMs if for some reason the opponent doesn't let you challenge. Still, maybe you just need bodies to be able to get that DFO on occasion. Most of the problems are, in fact, confrontable. The only one that is not is social obligations, which is the starting problem.
Teehee.
So, find those bodies where you can.
Buy some apples.
Should we take a look at the next deck?
Yes. What do we have here? I believe this is your Tempest White-Orange.
Oh, yeah. Tempest
What is
White
this,
Orange
a Highlander
toolbox.
deck?
This is a toolbox.
So, yes?
So, yes.
A trend has been started and it will never end.
Toolbox is good.
Until F-Stop goes away.
Yep.
Is this the full thing or is there more below?
No, I think this is it.
Okay. You always have to ask once it gets to
Yeah,
this
it does
size.
kind of go off the bottom of the screen there, doesn't it?
I believe those are all the troublemakers that are in it. So, despite the incredible variety of cards that's here, the strategy is pretty simple. You're just going to control the game. And ultimately, the way you want to accomplish this is by having more AT than the opponent, and the fastest way to control the game is to replay I'm the Friend You Need over and over and over and over again to mill your opponent into oblivion, and also potentially Destiny Drain their single most important piece. Which proved to be very useful against a deck that we're going to talk about here in a moment. F-Stop is clearly key in this deck, being able to replay most of your events that you only have a single copy of. And there's some neat tricks in here with Princess Luna or Plaid Stripes, who can both be copied by Queen Chrysalis Identity Theft if they're frightened, which Luna is capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. So is your Chrono Trigger.
Yes, Chrono Trigger can also be... Wait, Chrono
Xerox
Trigger?
Bait. Yeah. Chrono Trigger.
The troublemaker?
Yeah, that frightens everything.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were saying I could copy it with Xerox. I was...
No.
Okay.
I was saying it frightens stuff so that you can copy them.
Okay.
I mean, our queen is pretty cool, but...
She's not that cool. That's fair. Yeah, the problem deck here is also a little bit more interesting. It's not a typical combo problem deck, because this is not a combo deck. This is hard control. You're trying to leverage your AT gain. You're trying to get removal where you can. And trying to make it difficult for the opponent to confront while managing both of those. It's a pretty typical piece of purple, white, orange control. Like, I don't have a lot to say on it.
I'm just surprised you didn't have more Catajacks.
Only really need the one. You've got redeeming qualities if you really want to bring it back.
Okay, I suppose.
Yeah. I would like to at least point out the reason that Double Diamond is there, because some people might not realize. Double Diamond is there because of a little main in Harmony who does everything called Vinyl. Tempest finding Double Diamond turn 1 says, "You're not flipping."
Oh, that's pretty mean.
Yeah, at least not during main phase. Let's put it that way. You're not flipping main phase. And if a Vinyl deck is not prepared for that, that could literally be a turn 1 win.
Yep. In BabsCon, when I was running a similar list, I brought out Double Diamond turn 1 against Vinyl Burb, and that was that.
They couldn't find a what's it called?
I don't think the deck was actually constructed with that in mind.
Oh, okay.
Oops.
I think they had to
because Selena is a good way out, but you have to have Selena.
I think they had to dig for Rainbow Shine.
Ouch.
Anyway, let's take a look at the next list.
Oh boy, aren't we in for some fun here?
Yeah, you thought Luna and Plaid Stripes abuse with Xerox was rules breaking.
Okay, we're going for actual rules lawyering here. So this is Big Cheese and Ivory Starlight with a Tempest White combo that we have affectionately labeled 104.3 FM the cheese.
Much more narrow selection of cards than what we saw in the previous deck.
Just a little bit.
All right, Ara, do us the honors.
Okay, I'm going to have to go explain this. Okay, so the reason it's named 104.3 FM the cheese is because out of the comprehensive rules, we have Rule 104.3. Quote, some rules cause actions to be performed by the game. Something that is performed by the game can't be stopped, replaced, or prevented, even if that thing can't be done. Now, what this means in terms of the game rules is that if you end up with a uniqueness violation, the game dismisses it, and you cannot replace that. And there's a card in here, affectionately known as Rarity's Will, or What's Old is New Again, that says if something would enter your discard pile, a friend or resource, I believe, it is banished instead. Well, the problem is that if you get something to get dismissed due to uniqueness, it doesn't care what Rarity's Will says, or that modifier says that it should go to the banish zone. Instead, it just gets dropped directly into the discard, because the game's doing it.
And since What's Old is New Again lets you replay things from your discard pile, this means as long as you have the AT for it, you can continue to play cards that will violate uniqueness from your discard pile over and over and over and over again.
And over and over and over and over again. Until your opponent finally looks at you and goes, seriously?
Did you know Breezies don't cost any action tokens to play?
Huh.
Do you know if you set them up with Matterhorn and Luna, they actually gain you AT?
Huh, how about that?
Yeah, but they're not unique.
Oh, no, they're not. It's a darn shame, though.
Do you know Trailblazer makes everything unique?
Oh, huh. How about that? And so, the combo engine here should be fairly obvious. You've got Matterhorn with a Star Swirl Research that you can just keep putting on top of your deck.
To be fair, it works with any event, since you're not actually drawing the card.
That is true. And then you play a Breezy.
Star Swirl's just easy to ensure is on top.
Yeah, and play a Breezy. Hey, a friend entered play here. You should draw a card, and then replace it with Luna to
AT
exhaust the
instead,
Breezy to
yeah.
get an AT. And then
Then the Breezy dies
you
miserably.
play another Breezy, and then the Breezy, one of them goes away, and then...
I think you always have to dismiss the exhausted one to uniqueness.
Correct.
And you just keep doing that until you get up to, 90 AT?
Yep.
And then you just play Sweetie Belle 15 times. Then Cutie Marker 15 times, and then go, now I've got 15 points.
This is pretty much the epitome of a non-interactive deck. There's 2 Luna's Futures in here, and there's Mimics and 2 Grovers. And other than that, that's about it. There is one other...
Not even a double diamond.
Nope, not even a double diamond. There is
Well, I
one
guess
other...
because you want to draw cards.
Correct. There is one other hilarious trick that is here, which is you can play bats if you fear your opponent is going to have immediate speed removal for your friend, which says your friends can't leave play this turn, unless the game would dismiss them.
Yep.
But if the game dismisses them, they're not being banished.
I
So all this really does...
hate you. I hate this. Everything about this deck. I hate it.
All this does is let you sit there and look at your cards and say, huh, that text is pretty convenient at this point in time. I think I'll follow it. And then a few seconds later say, that text is no longer convenient. I think I'll just ignore it.
Boo. Hate.
It's a stupid deck.
It is a stupid deck, and this is...
What does this deck do to Nightmare Star hits play?
Cries?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, just making sure that was actually the plan.
I don't think we had time to actually plan for everything.
I mean, sitting there and crying is a standard
I
time-honored combo win con.
I think you just take out a Star Swirl for a single, because you gyro for the Star Swirl.
Yeah,
or I
that's
guess you
fair.
gyro for the other thing. I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway.
so this thing was there, and it did stupid rules things, and it probably isn't going to do anything else meaningful. As Bugle pointed out, there's a number of massive gaping flaws in it, but for sheer shock factor and meme value, it's pretty high up there.
Yeah, this is basically like, how close to breaking the rules can we get without actually breaking the rules?
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
My finger is 2 atoms separated from you.
Yeah.
I'm not touching you.
So we'll put it away in a dark corner and never touch it again.
Basically.
All right, next deck in Harmony.
So we'll have moldy cheese, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Changeling moldy cheese. I believe the last deck we will be reviewing in Harmony is Sokol with his Seleno white aggro combo. I think this is this is slightly changed from the Babscon deck list, I believe.
That one was core, so is this one actually Harmony?
This is still a core legal deck, if I recall correctly. The difference is that he is running Cracking the Case because a certain orange pony and her unending army of troublemakers.
Oh, I thought he was going to take out the Nightglider, so I overheard that. Guess not.
Nope,
I mean,
it's
they
not
do
the
say
keep,
point on them. I don't recall what all he changed here, but this, as with before, this is Seleno shenanigans. You sit there and flip Seleno and get some points, and then play a Tempest and flip her back, and then flip her again and get more points. Or you play it in concert with a Cerberus, which lets you turn the Tempest down and up again later for even more points. And Discords to get more Tempest back. And around this, we're going to build a nice, competent blue-white aggro, which is just silly. Also, there's Thunderlane, because of course.
Because of course there's Thunderlane.
Also the vote, which can get you a point if you're actually behind.
Yes, you can.
You just need that little bit of a burst.
Or,
Skitter is saying he wishes he took out the Night Gliders. I am assuming that the Night Glider was crucial in one of your games.
Yes. I believe what happened there was all 3 Night Gliders on about turn 4
Oof.
into a single face-off.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And
Did he win by 5 or more?
I believe he did.
That'll get you some points.
This is why you never single confront, folks. Never. Because you never know when your opponent's going to play 3 Night Fighters.
Okay, it was turn 3. Jeez.
Wait, yeah, so literally flip Seleno.
Do nothing, play 3 Night Gliders.
Do nothing, do nothing. Night Glider, Night Glider, Night Glider. That's cool.
Just what?
No, you did something turn 1. It was flip Seleno.
Yeah.
Yeah, so flip Seleno, do nothing, 3 Night Gliders.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true.
I mean, who's really going to see that coming, though?
Not Skitter.
Never single confront. Never, ever.
Always single confront. Never don't Skystar Chicken.
I think that brought him to 10 points, if I'm doing the math correctly.
2 plus 1 for confront, 6 for Night Gliders, and then
Yeah.
between 0 and 2 for bonus. Probably not 2.
Probably 1. Yep, seems good.
Seems good.
Fun list. I think there was either discussion or he may have altered this to include Rarity Pony Pirates in his core list.
Oh, that's what he took out. Pony Pirates for cracking the case. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with Harmony now discussed, let's move on and talk about core.
All right, let's go right into the top here.
Want to
So-
take bets?
If you've been following Coco at all, this should come as basically no surprise. This is Richard and his AJ Purple farm deck.
Which has literally not changed since Coco 1.
Pretty much.
I still want him to throw in rescue parties, but I guess if it works, it works.
Yep. I'm not sure that there needs to be a whole lot said here. It's orange, it's purple, it puts down troublemakers, it beats them up, it hits your friends with sticks.
I think the one thing that I always like pointing out here is Storm King, we always assumed was going to be a liability in core for farming, and it's proven to actually be kind of the opposite if you can use it efficiently. And this particular color combination, more so than any other, can use it most efficiently, simply because Captain Seleno allows you to drop your troublemakers into play there face up. So instead of leaving AJ at a problem to confront and possibly be sent home by the opponent starting a face-off, you just drop a Storm King into play immediately, and then the opponent can never move your AJ home because you just refuse to pay the 2 AT.
Unless they bait and switch, yes.
Right. At which point they're not moving it home, AJ's being
Right.
sent home by the game.
Correct.
Which, as we learned from Harmony, is something done by the game that can't be
hush
replaced.
you.
No, wait. If it can't be replaced, then literally everyone has been placing those cards wrong.
Oh, the things that said that if this card would be sent home from a problem, it isn't sent
Yes.
home instead. Okay, that's fair.
In fact, that one dilemma just ceases to work.
That's fair. Okay, ignore me.
Stuff,
Never mind.
The game doing stuff is actually fairly rare, so it's very unusual that matters,
I think it's the player sends each of their characters here home.
or something like that. Yeah.
It's also interesting seeing exactly how much AT this deck is capable of generating with the Factory Jacks and the Cheerilees. It's a surprising amount.
Factory Jack is good.
Gaining action tokens is good? Well, I never.
Shall we look at the next decks?
Yeah. Let's go on to Skitter and a player who we're going to call literally Trixie with their AJ Blue farm deck. Although I contend that this is a farm and aggro deck, not just a farm deck.
I mean, if you say One Punch Mare is farm, then this is farm.
One Punch Mare could do aggro too.
Right, but it was
But
still...
I guess everyone called it farm, so sure.
Yeah.
So if AJ and purple is a good combo, how about AJ and blue? you get some fun here too in the form of First Mate Mullet. You know what's really cool? Moving AJ at immediate speed for, I think it's 1.
It is, in fact, 1.
It's too small to read for me.
It is, in fact, 1, yes.
And you then back this up with Blue's fun tricks and Orange's fun tricks and a stick and some troublemakers and some desert roads and that dilemma that you'd look at and just be like, why would Control or Farm ever run this? And it turns out it runs it because it makes those troublemakers even harder to deal with. It's kind
Makes
of good.
them harder to deal with, and it's a dilemma that you can DFO off of.
Yeah.
So
now, I wonder how the early game here is, since they're not running under lock and tree, which means they are losing 1 power in the initial face-off.
Mm-hmm.
And their flip average is going to be lower than a typical AJ farm list. Maybe not that much lower. It's pretty close, I guess. Also, where are the Thunder Lanes? I'm looking for my Thunder Lanes.
Thunderlane costs 4.
Thunderlane does cost 4. I mean, First Mate Mullet is admittedly cheaper. And accomplishes basically the same thing. What if, instead of Thunderlane, I just had AJ in 2 locations?
Sounds good. And you didn't even have to spend power counters for it.
Yeah, that's probably better. Oh, look, 3 sticks. Oh, look, Desert Road. Oh, look, Big Macs. Oh, look, barrel throughs and bailouts.
So, I wonder how many missed mullet triggers there were.
Probably a couple.
Because I'm pretty sure everyone forgets that he has that ability.
I wonder how many times someone went to Ready Mullet when they played a Catajack and then realized, wait a minute, Catajack's not a pirate. And also realized, wait a minute, I can't have both of these in play at the same time. Why am I doing this?
Well, I mean, you could play Catajack and keep Mullet.
Trigger.
You obviously make Catajack go away.
Yes. Catajack
that's the other thing. Yeah, you can stack the triggers.
Yes. Catajack is a 5 mana cost board wipe spell. She might as well be an event. Most of the time.
Say that, and then she gets 3 diligent counters on her, and you're like, why is this event still beating me in the face?
Because you didn't have a belly flop. Or they had an Appaloosa.
Let's take a peek at the next one, yeah.
Alright, we have Matthew R's Tempest Pink control deck.
I actually spoke with him after the games were done. He was looking for advice on what to change in this list. And I think this is a good example of a starting point for a deck. And it's a good experiment to see the different ways in which this could be built, right? So, purple, pink, and white. A little bit of white. Just for the photo finish.
And the throne.
Oh, yeah, and the throne. Sorry, forgot about that.
And the blackmails.
We don't count that. We never count that.
We don't count. You know we don't count that.
I have to count that. Otherwise, I didn't play pink when I was playing Tantabese.
You didn't. Anyway, it would be very easy for a deck like this to include tools to play a Burb or Portal style control where you're trying to blink friends in and out of play. You've got Selena Blue, you've got Discord Wrathful, you've got Discord Party Clasher. All that would end up working well. But there actually aren't a lot of friends in the deck that do that right now. It would be very easy for this deck to simply play a harder version of Troublemaker control, since you've got Starlight Glimmer Apprentice Sorcerer, Clever Calculator, Napcakes. Again, Selena Blue is not a bad choice here, and Photo Finish to score you a bunch of points. But there are some other tools in here that play towards a different sort of style. I'm not sure which he ultimately elected to do. I think he moved away from the Party Clasher and Wrathful side of things.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
there's not anything really too Wrathful, or not Wrathful, or Party Clasher here.
Right.
Like you can Party Clasher your cutie marked Glimmer, I guess.
Yeah, looking at this, there doesn't appear to be a whole ton of things where you can use this defensively on your own stuff, but I suppose you could use this offensively to, for example, reset the counters on a Thunder Lane.
Not with Party Clasher.
No, not with Party Clasher, but you could do that with Discord. Party Clasher is a bit more interesting. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But then again, there's only 2 of them as opposed to 3 Wrathful, so...
He may have seen Party Clasher doing well in Coco and decided to put it in to see how it would hold up. Now, Aura, let's take a look at 2 things here.
Oh dear.
How much Yep.
Oh
how
dear,
much...
oh dear, oh dear.
Yep. Let's go down the checklist. How much resource removal is in the deck?
Insufficient quantities. Deck not perfect, yak smash.
How many total cards are in the deck?
I can't actually see that here.
47.
What? 9,000?
That was a jump.
Yes, it was a jump. It's an ancient meme. It doesn't even check out anymore.
47 and 9,000
I mean,
are
basically
basically the same number.
How do you feel about 53?
53 is special. For one person. Hi, Skitter.
So it goes 45, 53, 47/9,000.
Yes. Correct. Like
Yeah.
I said, this is a good foundation of a deck. Some interesting control tools put in here, and probably an example of... I'm sorry, what was the name of the player who was running this?
Matthew R.
Matthew R. This is probably Matthew R. Feeling out the field a little bit and feeling out his own deck, and I will wish him the best of luck in whichever direction he decides to take this.
I think just the playstyle here kind of suggests he was more interested in a control thing, so hopefully that works out well.
I mean, it was control either way. It's which type of control.
I think he talked about wanting to farm some of his own troublemakers for point acceleration. I believe that was something he was thinking of doing.
Yeah.
That is difficult to do with this friend selection.
As is, yeah. But gotta run it somewhere and see how it works.
That's right. All right, let's take a look at our last of the top 4 unique decks from the core format.
We got here Smithers with Baluna Orange Aggro. Technically had a tie, but we'll count that as a win.
Do not count that as a win.
We'll count that as a win.
Do not
we
count that tie as a win.
loss.
I worked hard for that tie, sir.
Okay, that's fair. I'm going to
So
count.
it counts as a win.
It counts as a win because, in my opinion, it is much harder to actually deliberately tie than it is to just win. So, props to the both of you for teamwork making the meme work.
This was a fun deck to play against. If it can get off the ground, it moves pretty quickly, especially when you find almost all 3 of your first mate mullets. I'm sorry, Rainbow Dash and first mate mullets, I should say.
I mean, the other is probably true as well.
The other's not bad.
Now you're moving 3 friends for 1 AT every turn. Well, 1 apiece, but still.
Yep, there are definitely some good options here. Something that eluded me and ultimately ended up leading to the tie was the synergy between First Mate Mullet and Rainbow Dash Pony Pirate, which is kind of funny because I was also running Pony Pirate and a way to move it at immediate speed, and for some reason I just didn't put 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 together.
Oh. But you do it with
Yes.
Pony Pirate and... Okay.
Yes, I do. In fact, I did it multiple times that game. Still didn't matter. Fun deck, though. Proves that Bluna is still capable of doing some interesting things. You look at the problem deck, and you can understand why a lot of those were chosen. To try to minimize the amount of power needed to confront each problem, while also maximizing the amount of power needed for the opponent to confront each of them. Totally Lost has a 7 requirement for the opponent. The Second Chance has a 7 requirement. What you give up in points for bonuses, you recoup in the ability to move faster.
Gotta go fast.
Supersonic speed.
So this deck has even more opportunities for a missed bullet trigger because it has more pirates.
It does, in fact, have more pirates. It also has 1 mystery mare, who I would have liked to see more copies of. Well, not me personally. I was sitting on the other side of the table of him.
You did not need any more of that.
Did not need any more of those. Saw the 1. That was enough.
Yeah. This deck looks like the kind of deck where as long as the opponent isn't playing tons and tons of removal, it can get away with a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, it is pretty greedy on entry. I'm gonna be honest here.
It's Smithers. What do you want?
Yeah, it certainly seemed to work.
This is the guy who last year played Trading Traditions and a single copy of Apples and Oranges as his entry.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's wow.
Some greed.
He had gyros, but that was it.
Wow.
All right. So, do we need to address the apple in the room?
No.
I don't know. Do you need your soapbox?
Don't want a soapbox. I don't want a soapbox, but I think it is apparent from the data that we have from both BabsCon and Everfree and Coco.
All both of those things.
And Harmony and Core, I should point out, that there is a certain main that seems to be rising above the others right now. And a lot of that is due to her innate strength in not requiring a lot of other cards in order to succeed. Or not a lot of other cards in play, rather. Not a lot of friends. And part of it is just that AJ gets real big, and that's real scary for aggro to deal with.
It kind of
especially
scary for Control to deal with, too.
It is scary for Control to deal with, especially outside of Harmony, where you don't have access to Ursa Vanquisher. Yep. So we're definitely in a meta right now where, well, 2 metas right now, where AJ continues to be a dominant piece. So to anyone looking to play competitively, I would encourage you, when you are building your deck, ask yourself, how many cards am I playing? How much resource removal do I have? And what do I do against farming?
We are adding a 3rd checkbox onto the list of requirements.
Well, moving on from that, there was one other format that we happened to hold at Everfree.
What, the Nightmare Tournament or the Chaos Tournament? Because those are both things, but the Nightmare Tournament was so stupid I don't think we need to really cover it.
We don't need to talk about that.
We don't need to talk about that. I don't think we really need to talk about the Chaos one either, mostly because the hotel would probably actually yell at us.
It was fun, and we appreciate everyone coming out for that. It was a good charity event. All the proceeds from that went to Everfree's charity for this year. So thank you for everyone for showing up.
What was the charity again?
I would have to go look that up.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find it.
I may have also injured myself in the course of that event, but it was hilarious.
Yeah. Playing catch with action tokens.
Snapping a stick in half.
Oh, hey. Everfree has their dates up for next year. It's once again on my birthday weekend, because of course it is.
It's also Kelly Sheridan's birthday weekend, I believe.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Incidentally, she's going to be there next year, at least that's what I heard from the closing ceremonies.
Ooh.
So come get your Starlight signed and tell her that you're trying to promote equality by making everyone 2 power.
There you go.
I mean, how about equality by blowing up the world and watching it burn?
I mean, That can also work.
Whatever.
So talk to us about Villain Challenge, Oracat.
Okay. So I'm going to have to both call out and give a shout out to Cursed Chords here for his Celestia grade troll during the Queen Chrysalis Villain Challenge. He had been waiting for this, evidently for months, because he knew that I would probably end up being there, probably end up piloting our Queen in full regalia, and then he brewed up a deck list specifically for this. For those of you unfamiliar with the Queen Chrysalis rules, prior to the start of the game, she must look through the challenger's deck and choose a friend, one from each challenger, to be a changeling spy. What does Cursed Chords do? He makes a Sweetie Belle resource recursion deck, and includes a single friend card. Which friend? What's more appropriate than the traitor to the hive himself?
It's an actual changeling.
My reaction when I figured out what he was up to must have been absolutely delicious. A+ troll would get trolled again. I went and looked at the recording of this. It was actually really funny. That being said, our queen went 1-1, and one of her fellow villains, Nightmare Moon, returned with a vengeance and secured her victory. All hail Nightmare Moon. Also our queen. Which leads me into a lovely segue. We are proud to announce the re-release of Nightmare Moon 2.0, Bigger, Badder, and Meaner. With this comes an updated draw deck to account for the Sequestria cards. Oh, yes, thank you, Cursed. That was beautiful. And I was not clever enough to deal with something. Let's see if this fits. It does! Hooray! Nightmare Moon's updated draw deck. We have some Sequestria cards, and some of these are really, really good at messing things up. It's pretty great. We have a document containing the changes and the rules, as well as a PDF of the full set of custom cards, as well as a patch if you need to just fix the things that got changed.
I think the general consensus with this update was Torch is good, True Evil is still good, Pony Pirate is good.
Twilight Sparkle, Pony Pirate.
Yes.
Actually, both Pony Pirates are pretty good. Hey, scary stuff. No, all of it.
Nightmare Moon got a few more teeth. Will she still lose to puppies? Possibly.
I think so.
I think she still loses to puppies.
She might still lose to puppies. Puppies are pretty scary. Like, real scary.
The real question I have, though, is did Cursed play the Thorax?
No, he did not.
If he had, would you have taken it?
Hiss.
So what you're saying is he had a 100% of his friends were secure and would never be taken.
Yep.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a hiss.
As
he chose
wisely.
Wisely, yes, there you go.
Quite wisely indeed. Anyway, that was some beautiful trolling.
Well, while we're in the midst of releasing new exciting things, what do you think? Can we go for 2?
Why not?
All right. A couple weeks ago, we asked a lot of our players a lot of our Coco players, if they would consider or be interested in playing in a Coco-style tournament if it was in the Harmony format. A Heiko event, if you will.
Hey!
And the overwhelming response was yes. we are now in our final hours for Coco number 5, round 3.
You got like an hour and 5 minutes to submit your results. All one of you that hasn't played yet. Shame.
Shouldn't it be 2?
Yes, it is 2. All one match, I believe he means. But our next regularly scheduled online tournament is going to be in the Harmony format. We're not going to do every event as Harmony, and it's not going to run parallel to Coco. It'll actually be rotating, much like Bugle, how you have stricter or more challenging rules every third Silver Spanner or so.
Yeah, every 3.
So we'll see the frequency at which people want to rotate between Harmony and Core. But this will give people a chance to play a format with some cards that may have been sitting there collecting some dust, with the exception of Gyros and F-Stops and Ursa Vanquishers and then fill in the rest.
So you're saying I have to build something without F-Stops?
No, I'm saying use the thing that has F-Stops in it. They haven't been collecting dust. They've been sitting there nice and tight in their little sleeve in that Harmony deck you've had tucked away for just such an occasion.
It has basically been untouched aside from when I need to cannibalize cards from it, yes.
There you go. Perfect. So we'll have links for that out relatively soon. Overall, though, Everfree was a great time. We want to thank all of our volunteers who came out. We could not have done it without you.
Running a con is hard work. Even just managing a single room is hard work, and everyone who helps, even if it's just a player like helping ferry match slips around, is invaluable.
Yep. I know we have several players in our chat right now who attended in person. Do any of you have any thoughts or especially fond memories you would like to share before we wrap up our discussion on Everfree 2018?
Well, Cursed says that he expects retribution at some point. In fact, he thinks it might be revenge worse than he could possibly imagine.
There is no revenge you could possibly conceive of that will come close to what I will exact upon you one day, Starlight Glimmer.
Cursed Chords.
Yeah.
Cursed Glimmer.
Cursed Glimmer. It's got the wrong number of syllables in it. Cursed Chords.
Yeah. That's why it's Cursed Glimmer.
Cursed Glimmer. Except, Cursed's favorite pony isn't Glimmer, it's Celestia, so this just doesn't work.
No. Revenge.
Cursed SD. No, that's too many. Cursed Stia.
Don't force it.
No.
Always force it.
No.
Don't let your memes be dreams.
You can let those ones be dreams.
No, those ones will remain dreams. No, we're going to eat the cake and not let Celestia have any. That's what we're going to do.
There you go. Well, it sounds like this will about wrap up our discussion on this topic for today. We do want to give a big shout out to all of our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your regular support. And if you aren't currently a patron, but you enjoy what we do, please do consider donating. Doing so will give you some awesome rewards, like the ability to vote on polls to determine what future videos we produce, a chance to share your own deck creations to be reviewed live, and even the ability to challenge members of Sim or other patrons to feature duels using some wacky rules. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, or if you're just interested in hearing about what we're working on for the future, Ponyville Sliderfest. There are many ways you can stay in contact. We have our Patreon.
We did that last week.
I know we did it last week. I'm continuing to do it.
I'm just saying that none of us are interrupting you because we did.
No, if we're continuing to do things, where's your flubbing words again?
I haven't done that for like a month. Mostly because I speak slower at the beginning of each stream to make sure I don't mess it up. Anyway, if you're looking to get in contact with us, we have our Patreon, as we mentioned previously. We also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/commentariasmagic. We're on Twitter at CIM_CCG. You can email us at commentariasmagicteam@gmail.com, and patrons at or above the $5 per month level get access to our Slack channel, where you can chat with us live any day. just about any time. Someone's going to be awake.
But not Cheese, because he's not here.
That just means he's going to be up during weird hours.
So normal hours for him?
Okay, weirder hours, fine.
I'm not sure that's possible. If you're looking to watch...
If you're looking to challenge.
Yeah, maybe.
Interruption.
If you want to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel, which is linked in the sidebar, or will be here shortly. Please make sure to subscribe so we can actually have a channel URL that makes some amount of sense. But with that said, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watching this recording later. We are Commentary is Magic. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
I am interrupting Cow. Moo!
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 Big Cheese is in transit.
Moo.
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 Moo. And I believe that next week we are going to take a brief break.
It has been a interesting run for all of us. I think we need a breather here.
I thought the issue was we just weren't going to have people.
Like half of us.
Yeah.
Don't take away my break. I need my break.
Everyone but you can have a break.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll stream it live. I'll do it solo. I'll see you all next week.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Later.